Uh, yeah, 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 uh.
Welcome, welcome, Felecia Wright. Is that her
Correct.
name? Felecia
Yes.
Wright. Awesome. Thank you for coming on Inspireneer to talk about your book. All you
And
need
thank
to
you for
know.
having me.
Yeah, the name of your book is called All You Need to Know About Felecia.
Yes.
Telling us about your book. So thanks for coming on. So you are on the spotlight. This is to talk
Okay.
about your book so the readers and the viewers will know about what your book is all about. So tell me
Okay.
about yourself.
Um, I'm a mother of two. I have two grown children. I have two grandchildren going on three. Besides me, wrote the book. I am in college, and after I get my degree, then I will be attending biblical college.
College. Okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you have your degree in?
I'm studying for business.
Business. Business. Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Well, good for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I am currently working as well. So that's about it, basically.
Okay. Well, hey, it's enough. You're doing
Oh,
multiple
yes.
things. Yes.
Yes.
That's good. So tell me how your book came about.
My book came about before I left, no, when I left Illinois. I had moved to Dayton, Ohio, and then I ended up coming back from Dayton, Ohio. And I had went to this church. And you know how the pastors and the prophets, they tell people to come up for prayer. So I was one of those ones that went up for prayer because I needed help when I came back from Ohio. So when I went up for prayer, he was pointing out to everyone on what they were going to do in their life. So when he came to me, he pointed at me and he was like, You you going to be a writer. And I'm looking at this prophet like, I don't think he know what he's talking about because I have no intention of doing any writing at all. It was so funny. But down the line, all of a sudden, it just clicked. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to write a book.
Nice.
And that's how that became about.
So when that thought came to your mind about you're gonna write a book, what what's the inspiration behind that? I know that you have the pastor that um, mentioned that to you, but
hmm
what inspired you to actually go and write a book?
Actually, that prophet inspired me, even though I didn't know I was going to write a book. But, I just figured, like, okay, I'm going to write about my life and the trials and tribulations and the storms that I've been through.
There
So
you
that's what inspired me.
Okay, there you go. So what inspired you is about all the things that you went through in life.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So So, what are some of the content in your book that if there's readers viewers that has not read your book so far, what are some of the information in your book that you can give away without giving away everything? What are some of the things in your book in terms of themes and subjects that you would like to talk about?
Um, what I would like to talk about, it took me 20 years to complete this book. And I didn't mean for it to take that long. But when I had this job as a caregiver, I was caring for this man, and he was married. And I told me and his wife was discussing things, and I told her that I was currently writing a book. This was during the midst of the 20 years. And I told her that I I feel bad and I felt like that I procrastinated. And she says, why? I says, because I should have been finished this book years ago. And she told me, she says, you know what? She says, honey, don't feel bad. She says, because you had more of a story to tell. And during those 20 years, things happened in my life, whereas that she was right. And I did have more of a story to tell. And the question that you asked me uh, about some of the things that's in my book, I had a stroke, and I explained in there as to how I had the stroke and what was the reason. So, what I would like everybody to know is, as far as having a stroke, to take care of yourself, watch what you eat, keep your weight down, watch your blood pressure, watch your cholesterol and everything. And there's other things that causes a stroke, but with my stroke with that stroke I had high cholesterol. So I've been telling everyone to watch, what they eat and how they eat.
Wow.
Uh, Other things in my book, there were concerning the good guys I had and the bad guys. And, I was once married and I married too quickly. And that marriage went sour really quick. And I would like to, tell all the ladies, don't be too quick to marry someone because it's not going to work. It may work for some, but it mainly will not work at all. And that it was pretty bad, but just don't rush into marriage. Um, real quickly, without knowing that person first,
Wow. So,
because I didn't know him that well.
mm, and you see and you hear about those many times. People are jumping to get married just to be getting married. Maybe because of pressure, or they feel that, well, I'm getting older, I'm at that age,
Yeah.
I feel like I need to settle down. And
Yeah.
those are some good tips because you do need to get to know the person you're with, or you're trying to
Yeah.
spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah. And see, we were very young also, and uh, there was another relationship that I had that's in the book. And he was a good guy, but I messed up and got with a bad boy. Okay. So, also to the ladies, just, let's see, how can I explain that? Make sure you make the right decision, because that was a very big mistake on my part. So just make sure, you know what you're doing, and, you know a good guy from a bad guy. Well, sometimes a person don't, and they, likes to give things a try, which that was in my case when I was really young as well. I messed up with a guy that I was engaged to and got with a bad boy, and I regretted at the end of the day, wishing that I was still with that person instead of that person, because that relationship went sour as well.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, and it's so important to make sure that is the person you are to spend the rest of your life with, because you don't want
Yes.
to end up in a more of a traumatic situation, or be in
Mhm.
a traumatic situation that you're trying to get your way out of. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can jump your way into something, but it takes even longer to get out of it.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So that's really good that you was able to explain some what you've been through in your book. And your book is
Yeah.
called "All You Need to Know About Felecia." Felicia.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if someone like myself picked up your book and started reading it, and then you have someone else that picks up your book and read it, How do you feel when people misinterpret or could possibly misinterpret your book the way you intended it to write it? So if you intend to write your book a certain way, but someone else misinterpreted or interpreted it another way, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that they actually shouldn't misinterpret it, because it's about my life and it's about the things that I've been through in life. Um, and it's about the things that people's had done to me and the wrong sayings that they said to me. So I really don't think that they would misinterpret anything. um, I just believe that they can learn from it as to the relationships I've been in my book and that stroke that I had.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good. That I'm sure that they'll be able to read your story. Everybody has a story.
Yes.
They're going to read your story. Hopefully, your story will be able to help them get through whatever they're going through, or possibly avoid situations.
Okay. And
So,
I'm hoping to.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
hoping
That's
to.
the
Yes.
plan. Yes, that's the plan. To that someone will hopefully get something out of your book, and I'm sure they will. Sure.
Yes.
So, as a writer, because sometimes you can get writer's block. You take one word to create a couple words, to create a sentence and a whole paragraph. So, how did you go about writing? Did you get writer's block? Did it just kind of just flow? How did you go about writing your book?
Actually, I just started from scratch. I started from when I was a little girl on up. And since it's about my life, and since it's my story, I just started, from when I was a little girl on up, mentioning my family, and things like that. So, yeah, I went about it that way. It's just start from when you were a kid, growing up.
Right. And then did you come up with like the titles for your chapter? How did you go about creating the titles?
Well, since it's about me, and I came up with okay, all you need to know about Felecia. And when a person purchased that book, I mean, because it is about me. So I came up with that title, All You Need to Know About Felecia. So, okay, everybody, that's just like a friend of my mom's. She had purchased the book and she said it was a great book. And she says, you know what? You sure did say it was all about Felecia, you know. Because the things I had up in there, so yes.
Well, I'm sure the readers can't wait to get it and purchase it. So, how was publishing? Did you publish it yourself, or did you go through like traditional publishing? How did you publish your book?
Actually, on social media, it was somebody, these book authors, not authors, but publishing companies. They be on social media, trying to get people to get published with them. And I seen someone's comment saying that they were in the midst of trying to write a book. And I commented under that comment and said, I'm writing a book right now. Then this girl, I didn't know who she was from Adam. She gets in my comments and says, Hi, my name is such and such a person. I can help you. She says, check your messages. So when I checked my messages, I seen what she said, but I didn't really think nothing of it at that time because I'm thinking, because there's so many scams going on and everything like that. So a few days after that, I checked again because she had messaged me again. And I'm like, let me see what this girl is about since she steady messaging me because she left her number for me to call. So I called the number and I talked to her, and I was really skeptical because, I have trust issues because, like I said, all the scams and things that's going on. but some just told me to give her a try, and she was legit.
Oh, that's a good.
So that's how I came about her.
That's really good that you was able to find someone that's legit because there are scams out there. So you
Yes,
have to be careful. You don't want to just pick anyone on Facebook that says they can help you publish your book because they'll take your money and go,
yes,
and you won't hear anything or take your book and publish it for themselves and
yes,
money off of them. So please be careful. Please be careful out there. So it's a good thing that you were able to find someone. Okay.
yes.
All right.
And but she found me though.
She did. She found,
Yeah,
but
yeah, she found.
yeah, you do have people that are finding people, so you still have to be careful. I just want to make sure I put
Oh,
that announcement out there because I don't want people to feel that they can just because someone reaches out that they're
right.
because I get people in my inbox asking me to sign up for Bitcoin and
Oh, yes.
trying to get you to give up that money. So just be careful. But
Hmm.
it's a good thing that you were able to discern and get someone that was actually legit on Facebook.
Yes.
And you have to do your research. So if they have a website, you make sure
Hmm.
just get that information from them. Um, Ask for a website, get their contact information, and just do your research on that person or company. Okay. So,
Yes.
what is it that you would love to share with your viewers about your book that we have not talked about in this interview, so that they will know? Is there anything that you would love to share additionally?
Are you talking about that's inside the book?
Yes, or anything you'd love to share about your
Now,
about your book? Yeah.
okay. Now, the few things that I did mention is in my book,
Mhm.
but this one main thing that I would like to mention that is also in my book. Um, my grandmother, she was in a nursing home, and she had a stroke. And when you have a stroke, you like in that baby stage again, which she was, because hers was really severely. And I was there visiting her. So as I'm visiting her, she's looking out the window. And you know how they have the phone lines going across outside, whatever those cable lines is or something like that, those black lines. So I see her waving, just like a little bitty kid. She was waving, looking out the window, smiling. So I said, Grandma, who are you looking at? And she says, I'm looking at, now my mother had passed away at the time. So she says, I'm looking at God and your mother. So I looked outside. There were two birds, a white bird and a brown bird. And I looked outside and I seen that white bird and the brown bird, and those birds were looking at us inside the room where she was in. It was like they were looking directly at us.
Wow.
And she was waving again at them. And I looked again and I just said to myself, I didn't realize it then because this was in 2009. But now, since I wrote the book, and I realized because I'm steady, thinking about it often, and I'm like, that was really God and my mother,
Mhm.
because that bird was the white bird and my mother was the brown bird,
Mhm.
and they were looking directly at us. So that I did put in my book.
Wow. Yeah. That
Yeah, it,
was,
it was so it was so amazing.
I'm sure. I'm sure that was. I really believe that God give us. He give us inspiration. He give us
Hmm.
warnings. He give us wisdom and knowledge. So
Yes,
it's just, are we in that place to recognize what He's saying to us at that moment? And so I really believe
yes.
those birds was symbolism of God's presence,
Hmm.
and that your mom was presence of your mom.
Yes. Yes. And
So.
Also for the viewers, I'm sorry. Also for the viewers, when I had the stroke that I had, I knew God, but I didn't know him, you know, and that made me even get closer to God and to know who he is as well. So I would like the viewers to also know that, if anything happens to them, I don't know how close they may be with God, or what have you. But if anything happens, um, they will get closer to God, hopefully, anyway. But yes,
You will hope, and hopefully it doesn't take a traumatic situation for people to get closer with God or want to know God.
yes,
But you would think
exactly.
a traumatic situation would bring them closer. Sometimes
Yes.
it does, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. Sometimes it makes people hurt, even harden. Make them even. But sometimes they blame. Sometimes people may blame God for traumatic situations. They harden. They hurt. May
Mm-hmm.
turn to stone. Um,
Yes.
Blame God for the situation. And some situations, it might draw them closer to God. You know.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it just really depends on the situation, depends on the person, and depends on where that person is at in their life. But the good thing,
Yes.
it brought you closer to God.
Yeah, that's why I said, if anything, happens to anyone, it will get them closer to God if they already is not closer to him. But like I said, in my case, I wasn't, but I knew God and I prayed and everything. I just did not worship him and praise him. But since I went through that ordeal, now I worship and I praises him. But as you said, it shouldn't take no one to get sick or anything to be close to God like that. But sometimes I guess that's just how things work with different people.
Yes, yes. Well, good thing that you were able to draw closer to Him. You were close to Him, but it draw you even closer. God has
Yes.
ways of building our faith by situations, and He allows
Mm-hmm.
situations to come to say, "Okay, can you trust me in this situation?" So,
Yes.
as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for writers who are still struggling to publish a book?
Um, I have people's come to me and ask me, "Oh, I don't know where to start. Where do I start?" And the same thing that I had just told you a little while ago, just start from the beginning, from when you was born, on up, and just start about, things that happen. That's if they want to do an autobiography. So I can only explain as far as that goes because that's what my book is a autobiography, But if they're writing about something else, I would think that they probably would know how to start off in the beginning because I can't really explain that part because, I have not ever written about anything else besides myself. So, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. We thank you for coming on board. So, where can the readers get a copy of your book?
It's sold on Amazon.
Yeah. So they can go to
Yeah.
Amazon and look up all you need to know about Felecia Wright.
Yes.
All right. Do you have a
And
copy?
they can also Google me too. But yes, they can go on Amazon.
Okay, perfect. Do you have a copy of the book you can hold up?
Yes. Ashley, could you hold for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right, there you go. All you need to know about Felecia Wright. Pick up her book at Amazon.com. You won't regret it. Thank you so much for coming on board and talking about your book, all you need to know about Felecia Wright. I hope everything goes well with your book in the future. Let me know if you need anything. if you have any questions about Felecia Wright, do you have an email, Felecia?
Yes, I do.
Let them know what your email is.
Okay, my email is Felecia Wright, Felecia Felecia Wright 48 at gmail.com. And I just want to let them know if they do decide to order my book to make sure that Felecia is spelled correctly or it won't come up.
So Felecia.
Correct.
Right. Wright. Felecia Wright.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. Thank you for coming on board again. You were on the spotlight to talk about your book, all you need to know about Felecia Wright. I hope everything goes well, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.